after that, I was head of recruitment in some clubs in Denmark, FC Nordsjælland and Brøndby. So recruitment is a big part of me, and also why I have big demands when it comes to how recruitment is done. And the way I saw our recruitment working when I came to Sundowns, I was not too happy with. I needed to change it. So because of that, we actually at first stopped the recruitment department as it worked at that time. Fine, we put the resources instead in another place, and then the recruitment was basically run a different way. But I will show you how I think, and there's no right and wrong here, but how I think a perfect recruitment process is. You start with finding the team needs, and you do that. I do that as a sporting director together with the coaches and together with the data department. The data department will provide a lot of info on how we are doing, where we are struggling, where we can do better. The coaches have where is the team right now, where are we heading. We have of course our playing philosophy and our style and how we're going to do that. But all that is done together between the coaches and the data department, and it can even be together with the academy as well, depending on what qualities we have in the different positions. So you define what is the team's need. Okay, the team needs a position 10. Okay, what does that look like? Again, how is that player profile? How does that look like? That's done, again, between the coaches, the sporting director, and the data department. And the player profile is very complicated, this thing, because the coach wants everything. I say, no, yeah, but if he could everything, he would not play in Sundowns. He would play somewhere else. So what is the most important criteria here? Give me the 10 most important criteria. And then we discuss them and we narrow it down and we say, okay, this is exactly what we need. We need to look for exactly this type of player. When we have that player profile, we can also say, what data do we have available for that? And do we already have some different prospects on that? And we are talking here about a position 10. There comes a data shortlist. This shortlist for us is 5 players. It's 5 players because we, of course, know the leagues where we have potential to buy players from. We know the leagues where the players often will fit well into our club. And then very, very important, we try to find players from leagues that are either on the same level or higher level than us, because the adaptation will be faster. Because he will not necessarily have first to learn, and to be able to play. We don't have time for that. We're Sundowns. We don't have time. We need to win tomorrow. We need to win in a month. We need to win the Champions League and so on. So we try on the leagues. So the way we define the leagues on the level is very, very important for us. That's also why you will rarely see, it can happen, but you will rarely see us bringing a player direct from, let's say, Cameroon, because the league there is weaker than ours. So even if the player is a star there, he will struggle with us from day one, and we don't have time. So we try to do that on the leagues. So there come 5 opportunities here, based on the data. After that, I start the video scouting, and that's something I do myself, and that's not perfect. We should have a scout doing that. But we don't have it right now. So I'm doing that myself. Also because my background, and also because I can probably do it a little bit faster than most, because I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of games. So I start the video scouting. I come back to the data department with Ryan, and I said, look, I like all 5. Well done. You're spot on here. I like these 3 most. And the 3, and now it becomes very interesting. The 3 that were highest on the data list were also the 3 that I like most. And the 3 players was, and not in order of hierarchy, but just the 3 names was Mathias Esquivel, Lucas Ribeiro, And the last one we didn't get, so I'll not say his name, but he played in Argentina. And we came up with, so I saw the video scouting, and I said, these three are very, very good players. They are very, very good players. And it was position 10 we were looking for. Now is to find out about availability. Of course, we have had a few talks before, and we know about the leagues and things, but we have to find out, is it actually possible? And for example, on Matthias Esquivel, it was not possible at that time. That only happened 6 months later with him. He was not possible at that time. We couldn't finalize it. So we have to find out, of course, how is the availability of the players. The next, when we find out, now we know, only now, we present it to the coaches. Because there's no reason the coaches spend time and waste time on players that are not available anyway. So we went to say, because now the list was narrowed down to 2. Because the third one, it was not available, because a club in Argentina would not sell him for a price that we could pay. He's also a bloody good player. So only now we present for the coaches. And it's to avoid that they sit, because it can very fast get blurry. Too many names, too many players, too many interests. And that comes, you know how it is, that comes names, from this side and from that side and from up there and, to the coaches and things like that. But what we could say here was that he fits the player profile, that fits the team's need, the data says good for it, the video scouting says good for it, he's available, now have a look. And the coaches came back on both and said, very, very good players. We would really like them. We said, okay, now it's time to move on then. So, in Sundowns, this is not done by one person. There's a lot of persons involved in these things. It's not one person who takes decisions in Sundowns. We are a lot involved in the process along the way. After that, we decided it was Lucas we were going for. We knew he was available. We had already spoken to all the different stakeholders. So the next that happened is I go to Belgium, where he played. He played in the second league of Belgium. But the second league of Belgium is, sorry to the PSL guy, but it's as high level as a PSL. Many don't know that, but it is, especially on the technical side. Very, very strong level, and tactical side, very strong level. So I go to Belgium. I have meeting with the club. I meet the club's CEO. I meet the coach of the club. I watched him in training. I watched him in match. I had meeting with the player. I had meeting with his agent. We have to find out, will Lucas fit South Africa? We have a thing on South American players, as you know, in Sundowns we have a lot of them. And one of the reasons is not only because I absolutely love South American players, no doubt. I love them. It's they have so much flair. But it's also because in South America they are used to one day play on a perfect pitch like the FNB, and the week after they play on a shit pitch like the one we played on in Polokwane. And so one day they play at sea level, one day they play in the altitude. One day they play in extreme humidity, like in Durban. And one day they play where it's very cold. So there are similarities on a lot of things with South American players compared to South Africa. So they adapt fast. And then I like them. So we had to find out if Lucas could fit the Mamelodi Sundowns. Now negotiation starts. Only now, really. Of course, we know a little bit where we are, but now negotiation starts. And negotiations in Sundowns are done completely transparent. So every time I have a meeting with a club or with an agent or whatever, it's documented. Straight away documented to senior management and to board. Everything is transparent on that. So negotiations start. I deal with the negotiations. I document it, I discuss it with the people internally, and it means again we have a lot of people involved here before that. Negotiations finish, now we need approval from the board of directors. Because In Sundowns, again, I'm a custodian. My job is to do what the board of directors tells me. It's not me who defines what Sundowns should do. I come with recommendations and say, I think we should go in this direction. I think we should go for this player. I have all the background for it, of course, and I give all the background on why we recommend that decision. But in Sundowns, all major decisions are taken by the board of directors, which is also the way it should be. It is their club. It's not my club. It's not the head coach club. It's not the players club. It is the board of directors that have the club, and the ownership, of course, is a part of the board of directors. So now we need approval from the board of directors. Now comes practicality. So now Becky have to go to Brazil and to make sure that the visa is sorted out. You guess who is senior management have to go to help with the visa thing again. We had a medical conducted in Brasilia on Lucas because he was in Brazil at that time, and because you have to apply for a work permit outside the country. We can't fly him in and have a medical done because he's not allowed to. And we follow the rules. We have to. We have to do it exactly as is written in the books. So a big practicality thing on that, and that's complicated for us. And then it's onboarding. And then we have Lucas in Mamelodi Sundowns. My point here is, if we had not had a good relationship with the coaches here on discussing the needs and the profile, we would not have ended up with Lucas. If we had not had a good data shortlist, we would not have ended up with Lucas. If the video scouting was not done properly all the way through, we would not have ended with Lucas. If the technical team had not spent all the hours they did on Lucas, we would not have ended there. If we had not done the travel to Belgium because it was too complicated, can't we do it on Zoom? We have to sit with the people. We have to sit with the person, because he has to start in Sundowns and play well from day one. And had the board not had the vision they had and willing to do the investment that they did, this was actually not a very expensive player. But had they not had the vision that they have, we would not have had Lucas. And had Becky and your guess and not done what on the practicality, on the visa and everything, we would not have had Lucas. So when we have a player like Lucas Ribeiro, who is arguably the best player in the Premier League, in the PSL right now, if we had not had all these people involved and they had bought into the vision and the idea on what we were going to do, we would not have had Lucas. So Sundowns is not a one-man job. I know it has been painted out in the media like that. No, but Flemming did that and Flemming did that. You completely, and I would say this to the media, I know we have representatives here, they completely underestimate the club then. The club is much stronger than that. If the media seriously believe that these big decisions are taken by one person, they completely underestimate our board, where we have football knowledge, we have leadership knowledge, we have business knowledge, and we have a very strong ownership. So that's how Sundowns work. And it will be the same way, because we have made a strategy and we have a vision. So if I leave tomorrow and another one comes in, the strategy is still there. And I hope the strategy will be followed, because we have proven that it works. So that's how Sundowns work. It's not run by one person. It is so far from that. And it's really to underestimate the club if it's painted out like that. I know there have been situations where it was in interest of some persons to let it be, let it look like it was this was coming from one person. I know there have been interest in that, but it is so wrong. It is so wrong. Decisions are taken by a lot of people in Sundowns based on a lot of information. And we don't rush into decisions. But this is what I call perfect recruitment process. And sometimes you get it right, and sometimes you don't get it right. We all know that we also later bought Matías Esquivel, who is now back in Argentina. I think he will come back, and I still think he will be a success. But we don't know, because football is not even if we have, I know Brendan is a very good data guy, and we have Ryan, a very good data guy, but football is not exact science. I hope Brendan have told you something like this, that there are objective data that we can measure, we can quantify, and those data are very important. And then you have qualitative data that is more experience and have seen a lot of players. That's also data. All that data takes decisions. That's the best decisions, if it works like that. I'm sure Brendan have told you the same.